Hello. Welcome. How's everybody doing today? Well, this is the thing that we did the other day. One of them. I think it's not too bad. It's not winning any awards, but got some color on it. Kind of neat. Big. Put them in there. Yeah, won't fit. Anyhow, we did 2 of those. Some other stuff. Printing right now. What is going on? Anyway, airbrush going here. It was just like pumping and pumping. It's got a tank on it, for God's sakes. All right, she's working. Oh, no real goals today. Just do some stuff, I guess. I did print this guy out. This guy's massive. It's kind of cool. He's got a, he's got the Catherine wheel, I think it's called. It's like a torture device. He's got this mace arm. I was gonna work on him today, but then I was like sitting here a little bit ago, well, a couple hours ago. I was looking at him, I was like, it'd be really cool if it was like backwards. Like if he was holding this up, like as a shield. Because he's got like this forward sort of stance, right? So it'd be kind of cool if he could do this and like have the thing. Obviously it looks funky because his arm, but then I was like, well, wait a minute, I can 3D print and just invert everything. So I'm printing right now the arms, but I've reversed them so that it will look correct. So I'm gonna print those out. I'm gonna see which one I like better. I kind of like that. He look like he's like really like leaning into it, you know. But this is a third party. This is supposed to be an Anchorite shrine, which I showed off the official one the other day. Let me get it. Those who don't know what I'm talking about. This is the official model, which is cool. This guy. So I may have made him too big. Well, I don't know. This guy could probably be bigger because he's got a dude strapped up on the side. I'm sorry, I'm holding him off camera. I sometimes don't have a good idea of where my camera's looking. This is the official model. But you can see he's got like this dude strapped to the wheel. Scale-wise, he's okay. So he's big. This guy's bigger. But I printed him normal size. This is what he came as right here. That's the normal scale. Which is like, alright, that looks a little, you know, height-wise, yeah, but like girth, you know. But then it's got all these like bodies on the back, and I was like looking at these bodies, like, they look like children. Which would fit into the lore, I'm sure, but I was like, well, I don't know. So I put in a scale, a guy into my slicing software, and then I put this guy in, and I just scaled him up until it looked roughly correct. These are still kind of small. But, you know, you can only make him so big. I get to a point. This is like 100 and... Where did I make him? He's a lot more. Like 128% scale, this guy is. But I think it looks a little bit better. But, he's got like a lady. It's kind of sick. Got like a lady skewered onto this thing. Again, she's kind of small, so we'll just call her a heretic child. I don't know what else to do. Hey, John Blower, thank you. All right, still haven't set up alerts. Bad person. But anyway, so I was gonna paint him today. I thought about it, but now I want to see how those other parts come out, and I want to see what's best. But I think with that pose, it'll look like he's like really like leaning into it. He's got the thing up, you know. It could look kind of badass, or it could look stupid. But I mean, to print this part, it's not gonna cost me that much, you know, with resin. But it's a long print because this thing prints kind of high, like tall, the way it's supported. So it's like a 4-hour print. So if you don't know anything about 3D printing, you know, it's just building layers. So it really doesn't matter how much you have on the plate. It matters how high it is on the plate. And that's going to inform how long it takes to print something. So it's going to take some hours to do that. So I try to load up the build plate with stuff that I want, but sometimes I don't really have anything that I want to print. Anyway, let me put this back. But I did print some other guys as well. We'll prime them so they look a little bit easier to see, but I'll kind of show them off here in a second. So let me get my Napster's glove on. If Napster shows up, I can test this fecal matter. All right. There it is. I'm just printing or priming with Army Painter. It's already thinned down. That's good. Something's not right with this thing though. It's not. A little bit of a clog in there. I think that I'll do. Son of a bitch. Well, let's see. Oh. I should have rigged it before the stream started, but I had the false assumption that it was in good shape. Alas, it was not. My handy tool here. Yeah, good spot right there. You get nervous when you take the needle out, because when you take the needle, kind of holds things together with an airbrush. Holds the trigger assembly together. I think the real problem probably in here. Kind of working this needle through and just pushing all the gunk out. I can feel it in there. There's a little bit of cheddar. Oh yeah. Why does that happen? Maybe I forgot to put some alcohol in there when I put it away. Seen this one get this bad in a long time. Ugh. Rough. I think we got it. A little bit of alcohol in there, kind of work it around a little bit. we'll get on track. All right, got that fixed. Oh. There we go. Good now. Put a little water in here. See what happens. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, an ultrasonic cleaner, absolutely. I've seen guys do that. I'm just too cheap to buy one. But yeah, I've seen people do that. Absolutely. But generally, I don't have that kind of problem. Usually I flush it out with alcohol. Isopropyl alcohol, and doesn't happen, but I may have forgotten, or I just missed something, you know. Anyway, this guy's kind of cool. I want to get him jazzed up so you can maybe see him. This would be a anointed infantry for the heretics. I'll Zenithal him here in a little bit and you'll see him better, but so these are kind of like the heavy infantry, the elite infantry, I guess. He's got a shield with like a body strapped to it. Which feels like it would be really heavy, but he's a strong boy. Can handle that. Yeah, let's do, this guy's kind of cool, even though I guarantee this guy's gonna break in the near future. I had to print him like 2 or 3 times because he kept breaking when I tried to get him off his supports because of this stupid ball and chain. That's stupid, it looks cool, but it's things like that. 3D printing is very difficult. Comfortably dumb says, is the base coat before you start adding detail? Yeah, so all I'm doing is priming. And primer is, you know, it's just like priming, you know, you're painting your house or painting a wall or something, right? It's just helps the grip with the rest of the paint. I guess it's stickier, or I don't really know how to describe it. So I'll do that, and then I'll kind of figure out where to go from there. Yeah, these are all resin printed. I got these figures from various sources on my mini factory or 3D Cults. Gotta find the same stuff in both places. Same, you know, creators. Hey Oz, what's up? But some of these I did a little digital kit bashing. So this guy with the Morningstar thing, he was holding he had this sort of submachine gun thing, and he was holding it kind of weird, like it was like it was out over his arm or something. It was weird. So I cut it off in a 3D sculpting thing, and I put in a different weapon, and I kind of stuck it in his hand. So if you were to like really zoom in, like you can't even see it with the figure, it's so small, but there's little inconsistencies where his hand is, because I had to like kind of move stuff around. But I changed that so it's a little bit more of a natural looking pose, because it was just bizarre the way he was holding it. And then what I also did is I added these backpacks, because he didn't have anything on his back. Oh, he's got some support still there. He didn't have anything on his back, and he just looked kind of plain Jane. So break these supports off. Sometimes you don't see them until you start painting. Really doesn't matter. So I added this backpack and like a bedroll type thing to his back, and you just take the STLs, the files, and you just mash them together in whatever software, and then you combine them, and then they just become one thing. So, which it's handy because for things like that, if you were to just take this and glue it on, it might stick out a little bit and look kind of weird. But when you can basically make it part of the model, it kind of integrates a little bit better. We'll support there. But as you can imagine, one, all these little spikes on his mace had to have supports. So there was a million supports stuck on this thing, and trying to get them loose was a real pain in the ass. So I printed them once and it was just such a mess, it broke off. I printed them again and I tried to like loosen the supports and make them not as strong, but it wasn't strong enough, so the print failed. And then this is the third go around, and I managed to mostly get it. I mean, there's still some artifacts on there, but you can't really tell. But this is so fiddly. I mean, he's gonna break. He's gonna break one day. But yeah, well, he looks kind of cool. I'll probably make him like my lieutenant for my war band there, those guys. What else? I guess that's really it that I need to prime at the moment. I'll just double check. So I still have some ink or some stuff in here. I hate to waste it. I'll just do like I did yesterday. I'll just spritz some. That way I'm not throwing it away. I can at least put it on something. I got this barrel of bits of just random stuff. That way it's done. Like mostly water at this point, so I'll leave it be. Are they resin printed or bought from? Yeah, these are all resin printed. Sorry, I'm catching up with the chat here. How long have you been doing model painting? Oh, I don't know, forever. I mean, I guess I started, you know, as a kid playing BattleTech. That was in the 80s. But you really didn't have figures with BattleTech. You know, you had like the little paper. It came with little paper standees. They had figures, but it wasn't as big of a thing. So I would say I really didn't get into painting figures until probably Warhammer. End of 2nd edition Warhammer. So like late 90s. That's when I got into it. I stopped for a few years just because Army in real life, and I was a grown-up. But then I was like, you know what? I actually like doing that stuff. So I got back into it. The range that all these are from, again, the lore range, if you will, is called Trench Crusade. It's a game that came out, I guess, about a year ago at this point, that I'm really enjoying. I just like the lore of it. I've only played a few games, but I like the aesthetic. So it's kind of a World War I meets the Crusades type thing. Do you go through an assload of alcohol with resin? You can. I try to reuse the resin as much as possible. But you know, luckily alcohol's relatively cheap. I got into resin printing right about before COVID, and that was a pain in the ass because alcohol was hard to get, and then it was expensive too. But I mean, you can buy a big jug of it for like $2 at Walmart. I left my Mod Podge open. I was working on a project earlier. Just wasting some time. I have the house to myself, so I'm living large. Alright, what am I doing? Alright, so I think what I'm going to do real quick with these guys is just do a quick kind of Zenithal prime like we did to this guy the other day. And all we're doing is just, kind of spritzing them with a lighter color, kind of builds in some shadow, and then you can kind of build from there. You don't use I can never say that word. Denturated alcohol. I use like 91% IBA. Oh no, you don't need to go crazy. Oops, I don't want to put alcohol in there. I don't know much about that alcohol, so I can't speak to you should or shouldn't. I'm not a alcohol scientist. Though I try every night. Alright, so we'll just spritz these dudes. I'm just doing top down angle. It's 100%. Yeah, you don't need 100%. I think you can buy what, 90%, 91% or something like that, and 75. I've used 75. Like, it's not a big deal. At least I don't think it's a big deal. I'm sure there's people that would disagree with me. I'm building some shadow there. I have no idea what I'm going to paint these guys, like, color-wise. At least this gives me, you know, something to work off of. And this guy is supposed to be like a priest type thing. So he's kind of cool. I like him. He's got a gas mask. I like the gas mask aesthetic. He's got a rifle slung over his back. He's got like a short sword stuck in his thing. He's got a shield, but he's also holding a sensor that's got like smoke, you know, billowing out. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to paint that. I've never been good at like painting like the pre-made smoke, but I'll have to give that a whirl. It's a little watery, but fight through it. These two guys came from the same maker, and for whatever they came with bases, their own bases, and then they have like these little things on their feet. I could have cut them off in the pre-slicing phase, but I just didn't. I figured I'd build around it because I didn't print their bases. I hardly ever use the pre-made bases that come with models. I like to make my own. Not that I'm great at it, but at least I can aesthetically make them all the time. Kazma, last time you were painting, I saw you had a Zendrati battle pod. Did Robotech have any effect on your career choice? Oh, I think so, 100%. It was so cool, right? Like watching like all the flying around. I know a guy who flies Hornets and F-35s in the Navy, and he loves Robotech, and he's like, yeah, 100% it affected me. So, yeah, I love Robotech. American Robotech. I don't know too much about the Japanese version. I'm not one of those hardcores. All right. I think we've done enough with that. Once again, I have too much. I don't like to waste paint. That's probably it. Okay. Yeah, I need to do like a another Robotech. I worked on a why am I a battle, you know, the jet, what do they call them? Why can't I think of it? Veritech. And I built it. It went together fine. I was painting it. I just couldn't get the paint that I just couldn't get the look that I wanted. And I got so angry. I was just like, fuck this. And I just threw it away. I threw it away. I shouldn't have done it, but I did. I was frustrated. So I've got another one sitting in my Amazon wish list. I just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet because I'm inundated with things that I want to do. Oh. Which resin printer are you using? Yeah, the Anycubic 7, Mono 7. I love it. It's so good. It's so reliable. So reliable. If I ever have problems with it, it's usually on my end. It's not the machine. All right, I kind of want to do this guy like a dirty white. I'm almost like Assassin's Creed inspired with this guy. And again, this is another digital kit bash that I did. So he was just a knight, and then I cut he had like a sword in this hand. I cut it out and I put this submachine gun in his hand. I want to do some sort of off-white, I guess. I don't know. Probably this mummy's robe. How about that? That sounds appropriate. So I'm gonna stir this up. You might hear it in the background. I've got one of those little like vibrating things, you know, like when you go get your blood tested or something. They got that little thing that put the vial and it shakes it. Vortex mixer, I think is what they're called. I bought one on Amazon for like, I don't know, $10 or something. Do you have a UV curing device and all that? I've made my own. So we used to get a lot of groceries delivered, and the cold stuff would come in these big boxes, right? These big cardboard boxes, and it was lined with this reflective, you know, like tinfoil type thing. So I took one. It's a big size box. And then I bought these UV lights on Amazon and I strung them in there. And then I just feed the cable out the side, and that's my curing station. And I have a little thing that rotates with UV light hits it, like sunlight, and then it turns. It's really small though. It only holds a couple guys, and I usually print a lot of stuff. So I've got 2 tubs. I've got one tub that I'll put water, and I got another tub that I've got alcohol in. And then I've got a old ass water heater, you know, for like making tea or whatever. And it's all beat up because I used it in the army. So I'll just heat up the water, get it close to boiling, not quite boiling. I'll put it in the tub of the water, and then I'll put stuff in there. The hot water helps the supports come off real easy. I see a lot of people on YouTube, they like cure their stuff, then they take the supports off. I don't know why you would do that, but that's what they do. It's a lot easier to do it before you cure it because everything's kind of loose and rubbery, and especially if you've got really light supports, man, that hot water, they'll just pop right off. They don't even fight you. So I'll dunk it in the hot water. I'll get the supports off. I'll put it in the vat of isopropyl. I'll, you know, swish it around or whatever. I'll dunk it back in the hot water and then put it out on a paper towel or something on this sheet that I have, and I let it sit for a couple hours, let it dry, and then I put it in the UV box. But yeah, I've seen those curing stations. I just haven't felt the need to have one, to use it. That's the thing about this hobby, really any hobby, right? Like someone somewhere is gonna find a way to make money. And this hobby is definitely guilty of that. You can buy stuff that's like, oh, this was made for hobbying, and then you go to the other side of the store and find basically the same product, just not designed for hobbying, and it's the same thing, and you buy it for like, you know, 10 cents on the dollar. I don't know what I'm doing right now, so don't judge me too harshly in how this turns out. Ugh. I'm gonna try and go for like an off-white. Do a little bit. Things still acting a little weird. And white is never fun. It's got thicker pigments and stuff, so it can jam up a lot easier. And I'm always keeping a view to the fact that I'm going to dirty this guy up. I'm going to coat him in nasty brown oil wash and stuff, so I don't need to get a pure thing. In fact, really the tattered end of his cloak I should just leave, you know, nasty. There we go. Cool. Yeah, and when I bought it, dude, I bought it for like, it was on Amazon. I think it was like 40% off. It was tremendous. So I had an Anycubic Photon. My first one was a Photon. Then I got a Mono 2, which was really good. but the LCD screen went bad. I couldn't find one to replace it. So I was like, well, piss. So I'll just buy a new thing. And that one happened to be on sale at the time. And oh man, I'm so glad. I have since found a replacement for that other one, the LCD screen. It was only like 40 bucks, but I haven't put it back together. Haven't had a need to, even though I'd like to, because I have some clear resin that I'd like to do some things. Like they have these commando type characters that, you know, have like cloaking and stuff. I'd like to do one clear and then like paint half of it, so like he's coming out of cloak or something, you know, something like that. I just haven't. I gotta take the time to put it together. And these are these like battle nuns or whatever. He had a cruelty but returned it. Yeah, I've been an Anycubic guy the whole time. All of the ones that I've had have been Anycubic. I even have an FDM printer that's an Anycubic. It's going right now on a 9-hour print. I'm trying to print some buildings. I wanted to build, so like when I was a kid, like I said, I played Battletech. And if anybody played Battletech, especially back in the day, you'll remember the Battletech Compendium. It had a picture of a Mad Cat on the front. But there was these colored pictures in it in the middle, and it was like this big board that, you know, whatever they'd made. So they had like actual figures, which again back then was kind of a rarity. But they had these figures, and it just looked really cool. Like they had, you know, like bridges and trees, and they're very dated. I mean, the stuff that people make these days look 100% real. That you could tell it was fake, but it looked so cool. And I always just remember like looking at that as a kid and just like daydreaming about it, you know, like, oh, it'd be cool to have that, shit like that. Well, I'm a 47-year-old man that makes pretty decent money, so I'm like, you know what, I want to make that. I'm going to build that. So as I mentioned, my son and I built these trenches, which I did show off. I've got one here last time. I'll show it. It's kind of a big one, but I built these trenches. Let me move the camera out. Go to crouch cam mode. But we built these trenches. This one's got a cannon that goes inside of it that I 3D printed. So, but we've got like 8 of these, 9 of these. And then we built, or I built, a table for them. And it's a 4x4 table. And you can put them any way you want. And the table itself is like brown muddy, so it's just it kind of looks seamy. Even though I'd wish it was darker, I'd probably repaint it. But I had to buy so much wood to make that. I've got another 4x4 piece, so I'm gonna make that into another table. And the project I was working on today, let me see if I can show this off. I don't know if you guys will see this. This will come out. So this, you go to the dollar store and you get this foam. It's called foam core, right? It's for like kids projects and shit like that. It has a paper lining that just peels right off, and then it's just foam, right? So this is, I don't know how thick, 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch thick, and it's just foam. So what I found online for free are these rollers. I can't quite reach one. Hang on, let me see if I can reach it. Anyway, so I found this. There's a couple different ones. One looks like brick. One looks like cobblestone. This one looks like, I don't know, some other type of cobblestone. I don't know. But it's just a roller. Yay wide. So I had this idea. I was like, you know what if I take a bunch of those sheets that I just showed you, right, embossing. What if I just took a couple of those and I attached them to the table completely, and then I just ran this whole thing over it? Would it look like cobblestone streets type thing? And I saw some other guys do something similar, except they did it by hand, which is insane to me. Like, or they'll make like little jigs or something. But I found these rollers. I've never seen anyone do it before. I feel like Trump right now. I invented it all by myself. I came up with this idea. But so I was like, you know what? I wonder if this will work. So I was bored today. I took one of those things. I ripped off the paper and I just spent 10 minutes or so and I just rolled this, which is kind of a pain in the ass because again, this is only what, 6 inches or so. But I rolled it along that whole thing and embossed it. Then I painted it with Mod Podge glue and some black paint. 1, to make rigidity, but also 2, to make it black, because then once it's dry, I'll just dry brush it gray and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see what that gonna look, because it's actually working. I didn't think it would work, but I think it looks pretty decent. Oh my god. Don't worry, nothing's, that's fine. But you can see it's there. So when I dry brush it, I think that'll really pop. It'll pop enough. But anyway, so my idea is that the whole table will have that. That was just like a screwdriver that fell, don't worry about it. The whole table, 4x4, will be that. And then I can take all these buildings that I'm printing and making and stuff, and then I can just put them anywhere, and it'll look like, you know, like a scene. I don't know. John Buller says, I love that era of cover box art. Yeah, no, absolutely. I have, oh fuck, you might appreciate this. Old time Battletech guys will appreciate this. This is the old school City Tech 2nd edition. It's in terrible shape. I've had to like glue it or tape it together and all this stuff. There's some of those figures back in yesteryear. It came with these. Contains 2 of each of the battle mechs painted above, which I think is why this box set was actually pretty cool, because it actually came with the figures. Yeah, what year is this? This is 94. Yeah, I guess that's about right. 94, I was like 13, 14, something like that. So yeah, that tracks. But anyway, I can't even open it because I've got it glued or taped shut. I don't even know what's in here. Probably some old original stuff. I'm sure none of the figures, but there's probably maps and things like that in there. But anyway, I've got that sitting up here. Oh. The problem with printing is finding a place to display all your shit. Yeah, absolutely. That is a fact. That's kind of why I sold a lot of stuff. Like I had a lot of Warhammer stuff that I hated playing. I wasn't good at playing it, so I got rid of it all. But it was the same thing. I kept some stuff that I was like, I'm proud of this. I'll keep it, and I'll display it. I've got this big display case behind me that I got at IKEA. If I had known that they were gonna stop carrying it, I would have bought like 4 of them, because they were like $50 a piece. They're wood with glass panels, glass shelving. I bought these cheap ass LEDs to go inside of it. It's a phenomenal case. They don't sell it anymore. I look every now and then online to see if they have it again, but they never do. All right. I don't know what to do with this guy. So obviously this will be metal, this will be metal, that'll be metal, metal. Do some sort of brown in here. Let's do this. I'm just playing around right now. Doing things that I don't normally do. Because the problem with a game like this where everything's kind of drab and dirty is you end up doing the same thing over and over again. You don't mean to, but then everything you have is brown or gray. Trying not to do that. I'm just going to put a dark tone wash on his leggings. Got leggings. Let's see what it looks like. There's another support hiding in there. supports are everywhere, man. But what I like about Trench Crusade is it's miniatures agnostic, so you can just kind of do whatever. So I've kind of made this warband in my head of like that they're just a random assortment of dudes from various backgrounds who have different just types of armor and weapons and stuff, and they're all just, you know, just a hodgepodge of guys. So they're not like an official, you know, military organization. They're just some dudes that are like, fuck it, let's go fight demons. So I just kind of look online and I find some knightly dudes that I look at and I say, yeah, I could add this to them. I could give them a gun without it being a huge pain in the ass, or I could give them a backpack or something like that. And really, I think I'm done. I mean, I think I have all the people that I need for my little warband. That's what the other thing I like about the game is you don't need to have a million figures. What am I looking for? Just kind of playing with some of these shades. I don't really use them that much. You can tell because this one's gummed up. Love a little Space Hulk diorama with some Blood Angel, Termite Gene. Yeah, 100%. There's I don't know if you go on Pinterest, John, but I come across, Pinterest is cool. There's all kinds of cool stuff on there, but I come across every now and then people have made dioramas of exactly what you're talking about. And there's one with like a Space Marine Terminator. He's like falling down a tube. Then he's shooting up because he's being chased by gene stealers and stuff. I would like to do that too. I have these old ass Battletech miniatures that I'll never play Battletech again. I can't stand that game. It's way too complicated for me now at my old age. But I have all these miniatures. I mean, some of them are, you know, they're classic from the 80s. I have some still in the packaging from the 80s. And I was like, I'd like to paint them, but I want to have like a display for them. So that's on my list of things to do, which, as you know, those lists pile up quite a bit. I'm not overthinking what I'm doing. I'm just kind of putting some colors on here. That's kind of neat, actually. I like that. You know, where it's almost an orangey red. Yeah, 100%. I was always pretty decent at... I was a Dark Angel player, so everything I did was Dark Angels green, but I also liked because they had the Deathwing and they were white, and like a bone white. I had a pretty good way of doing the bone white. I think I'm at a level where I can make literally anything. Wood, metal, 3D print, laser stuff, even electronic software. But when it comes to painting stuff, nope. Yeah. Yeah, and it's definitely one of those things where if you stop doing it for a while, it doesn't come back easily. I hadn't painted in probably a year or so up until recently, and then I started again, and man, it was hard. Like, it was very hard. Because I'd paint stuff and I'm like, man, this looks like trash, and then I'd get angry and not do it again. It's kind of like when I played DCS, same thing. Remember when Dark Angels were jet black? Yeah, exactly. The old school they were, which I'm glad they're not because it's just boring. I don't know what to do. I think I'm gonna make this like a red sash. But I'm trying to make sure that it's not like... I don't like cloaks sometimes because there's, well, like, they get so many and you're like, okay, what part is what? What is what? I'm just gonna put some red on that one. Dude. We'll do this. How about that? Yeah, definitely moving. I mean, I had the same problem. I had to like force myself to pull all the stuff out after I moved. But I was very happy after this last move to be like, okay, I'm never gonna have to do this again. Well, maybe. Never have to do this again. Never say never. Need some brown there. I'm not a big speed paint guy, but I'm finding myself using it a lot right now. They do go on thick. I don't like that brush. Ugh, some of these brushes. I do have a new set of brushes. Just always reluctant to. I try to just use a brush until it absolutely is trash. Yeah, that's true too. Everything was enamel. That's what we were kind of talking about the other day, is like enamel paints for washes is like the big thing now, but for people like me who've been painting forever, it was kind of funny to watch people almost like discover enamel paints. And granted, I wasn't using it, I wasn't thinking about it the same way of using it as a wash or whatever, but it was kind of funny to watch people act like, huh, enamel paints. They're just like paints we use, except different. Oh, nice. Made your own workshop. Yeah. Yeah, when we moved into this house, I'm in the basement. There's this sort of workshop room. And I had it completely gutted, drywalled it. Had the electricity sort of fixed. And I've slowly built my own tables, like the table that I'm on right now. I've built a table with my computer stuff. I built... They're sort of floating tables. One bad problem is there's no air conditioning in this room. I had air conditioning installed out in the main basement, so I kind of get some of the benefits, but not as much as I'd like, but it's not too bad. There's no real way to get air conditioning in here because it's kind of buried in the house. Oh, that needs to be brown. Kind of hard to paint on stream because I kind of have to leave the model here versus the way I would kind of paint would be like right here, but you guys can't see that, so move my head a little bit. Not that there's much to see. I might play a game of Trench Crusade tomorrow. Son might come over and we'll play. See what his schedule looks like. He goes to college, but college is like 3 miles down the road, so. I'm trying to figure out what his like wrappings are there. Let's see if I'm trying. Like arm wrappings. Looks like it's metal, but wrapped with something else. I don't know. It's hard. No need for AC. Well, that must be nice. That would be nice. All right. I think we'll do some metal. How about that? If I can find it. Where? Oh, here it is. I love this stuff. I need to get more. I'm almost out. Off topic, ever tried DCS in VR? Oh yeah. I have a G2, old, I guess pretty old at this point, that I rarely ever use. I haven't used in years. And then Pimax had sent me the Crystal, I think it was, which I loved. I thought it was great. But for making videos and stuff, VR is kind of a pain in the ass. So I didn't do it that much. And then they were like, could you give it back to us since you don't use it? Or no, what they wanted me to, they gave me an address and then I sent it to somebody else. And then they paid me for the postage, even though I honestly don't remember getting paid for the postage. So I don't know if that ever happened or not. But whatever, it was like 30 bucks. But yeah, that one was really good. That one was really good. I did a video about it. But the setup when you're trying to do videos and stuff, it just makes it more work. It's definitely more immersive cockpit wise, but that part didn't bother me. It's like I don't really care about that. If I can't see targets, that was like my problem. Couldn't see targets on the ground, things like that. It definitely made air-to-air refuel easier. I think the Harrier was my drug of choice back then. And tanking on that thing's kind of tough because the angle of it, where it's at, is weird. And I tried it in VR and I hooked right up the first time, like just popped right in. Like, oh, that was impressive. guy does kind of have an Assassin's Creed vibe going, doesn't he? See, and even that shitty like white we did on the cloak, like it didn't really look like anything, but now that you start adding some other colors, it's kind of like, oh, that's not bad. Could highlight it a little bit, but it's not bad. I gotta do a shoulder. As usual, I put way too much paint out on this palette. I need to play Assassin's Creed again. I literally just bought an Xbox the other day off Marketplace. I didn't have one in my living room. And I was like, I want to play some Assassin's Creed. We'd gone to Boston and it started like making me think of whichever Assassin's Creed that was. Revolution or something. I don't remember which one it was. And I've yet to play it. I installed it and that's as far as I've gone with it. Needs to be done. Yeah, this one comes thin because it's airbrush paint, really. So it's already thinned. Obviously, we're gonna have to do a skin as well. No, the skin showing. Just a tease. Yeah, I love this particular color. This Vallejo steel. It's just so smooth because it's already thin, so that makes it easier. It just goes on for days. Like you put some on your brush and you just like keep painting. It's like, wow. Tell. Alright, I've got to get it close to my head so I can see what the hell I'm doing right now. Alright. I think everyone should name the game sequels as 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Yeah, what was Assassin's Creed 2 Revelations? It was really like 3, but it wasn't 3. Yeah. Yeah, it is frustrating. Sober History says, I've been looking into getting into Trench Crusade. Do you have any suggestions? I'm a fan of Chaos, Iron Warriors, and Warhammer Spheres. What kind of demon tech can I snag? I don't, one, I suggested it's a good game. And it's fun. The lore is really cool. The aesthetic's really cool. I'm not very smart on the demon side. I have the heretic army, which have some sort of, but it's mostly just like evil dudes. There are some sort of wicked stuff. Like I showed this off the other day with the she's not done yet, so don't judge her, but the artillery witch. But then there's the Black Grail and some other demon stuff that I haven't paid too much attention to, but they've got some weird stuff. I know the it's almost like a Nurgle type group, but they have this can't remember what he's called, like Amalgaman or something like that. And he's just like this big brutish thing with like all these guns and stuff sticking out of him. But like I was saying the other day on stream too, I don't, you know, if you're a 3D printer, there's just a million figures that people have made to support the game that aren't official. I mean, nothing here is official, but these are all things that people have made or things that I've adjusted to make. So it's got a wide variety, because one of the things I do like about Warhammer is you know, the kit bashing side of things. And of course, with Warhammer being as popular as it is, there's no end of parts that you could get, you know, third-party parts and things like that. My problem is I just don't like Games Workshop. I don't like them as a company. I haven't for a really long time. I worked for the game store when I was in college, and I had to deal with them, and they were dicks back then. This was 2000, so they've not gotten better. All right, we gotta. Let's see, what can we do here? I don't really care about this part. I just need it to look like something, so I'm just gonna put some of this wash on his like arm bands or whatever, just to give it some color. That's the thing, you can always come back, right? You can always come back when you look at it and say, yeah, I don't like that. I need it to be blue, or, you know, whatever. Just paint it blue. As long as you don't make your stuff thick. And it really doesn't matter. Artillery Witch is a terrifying title. Yeah, it is. I've yet to use it in game. Maybe I'll use it tomorrow, but it's supposedly pretty badass. If you can get it into a high place where it's got line of sight, because I think it can basically reach across the board. And if it hits you, I know that even if it doesn't do damage, it can like push you back like 3 inches or something. It's area effect, which I don't think there's a lot of area effect stuff in the game. Ever use rub and buff? Is that a euphemism? I don't know. What is rub and buff? I'm not familiar. GW can't even keep their own branding decent. It's in default area font. They have a real arrogance problem. And again, people kind of make it sound like this is a new thing. It is not. They were like this, like I said, 20 plus years ago. Oh, I missed this spot. Just very arrogant. And I don't understand why they treat their sort of digital content creator community the way they do. You know, people make these really awesome fan films and stuff like that, and they start suing people, and it's just ridiculous. Like a powder and you rub it off. No, I'm not familiar with that. Trying to figure out. Anyway. I'm not a fan of the game because, one, I suck at it, but more importantly, it's become such a cash grab. I mean, everything about it is just to make you spend money. And I get it, it's a business, it's publicly traded, all that jazz, but at some point it's like, Jesus Christ. I don't know if I should have painted that part the way I painted it, now that I'm looking at it. That's fine, whatever, I don't care. You know, I started playing at the tail end of 2nd edition, which 2nd edition was pretty cool, because the 2nd edition was very, I mean, you could have big armies, but they weren't like massive big armies, and everything had this sort of like individualistic feel to it. There was a lot of quirkiness and kind of cool stuff to it. There's a channel on YouTube called Minisodes, I think it's called, and he does battle reports of 2nd edition, but he doesn't do like normal battle reports where people just, and then I rolled a 5, you know, like they're really boring. Like he makes them like a story, and they're pretty quick, like 20 minutes each, but it's 2nd edition, and you can see how fun 2nd edition was back in the day, and he kind of makes it old school looking as well. But I played that, and then they went to 3rd edition, and it was just a completely different game. I like that. So if it was more like second edition, I think I'd be into it, because it was a lot more like goofy back then too. Just kind of quirky. What is happening? I'm not trying to make his hand super detailed. I'm just trying to put a little color on there. That's it. And that's sort of highlighting some other areas that I missed that I could just put this wash on. And this guy's almost done. Yeah, I like them. And what I can do, like we said with this cloak, go in with a brighter color and sort of highlight it. Maybe we'll do that a little bit. But other than that, I mean, it's playable. I'll dirty this up. Let me see if the wash will do that for me. Got a little bit here. All right. Did mummy robes. Let me just try and reapply that just a little bit. What is happening? Oh. First full week of school, so there's all kinds of school bus drama. I don't know if it's like that, you people with your kids, if you have kids, but oh yeah. I don't know if that's translating to you guys, but kind of highlighting the higher edges, and then my brush is kind of wet, so I'm just kind of letting it feather it out just a little bit on the edges there. Kiddo's all grown up. Well, I've got what, 19, 15, 14, and soon to be 13. Is that right? Yeah. Track, man. I think I'm going to introduce them to Pitch Black tonight, if you're familiar with the movie. My youngest came home and asked what pitch black was. I'm like, why are you asking? Some teacher said something about it. I was like, well, I was like, you know, we're gonna watch pitch black. It's not that scary. Not considering the crap they watch and games they play. Kind of hitting these highlights here, almost like dry brushing. Yeah, Vin Diesel. I like Vin Diesel. I really like the second one. Can't remember what it was called. They were like really building up a lot of cool lore. And then the third one was basically the first movie just with a different monster. Kind of disappointing. I'm not gonna lie, I like how this is coming out. I don't know if it's translating as well on camera, but I don't do a lot with white. Certainly not in this capacity, in this volume. Just have barely any on my brush. I'm just kind of feathering it, stippling it. All the tricks. All the things. All the moves the girls like. Riddick, that's what Chronicles of Riddick, that's right. Yeah, I like that. And really what he needs, I'll try it with the white. I don't know that I'm gonna pull it off. Got like his leggings, but it kind of got like straps. I'm just very lightly, barely any of that white on my brush. Sort of dry brush it on. Just to give it some three-dimensional look to it, I guess you could say. I can't even can't see in there, so that doesn't matter. Just to give it something. Yeah. I could go back in like the folds of his cape and sort of dirty him up or something. I'm not gonna do that. That's where I'll screw it up. But I think that pre-shading of darkness is just enough to build some sort of contrast. And of course I could get a brighter white and go even further and build up those edges, but I think he's okay. Now the question is, well, a couple questions. Do I dirty up his cape a little bit more? I think the answer is yes. And do I put any rust on his armor? I think the answer there is no. I think the armor probably needs some wash. I don't want to wash the whole thing because that's going to screw up the cape. But I think the rest of him could maybe use some. What I could do here as well, I could literally put some stuff on here and sort of gunk up his cape and add some texture to it. But I don't think I'm going to do that. Again, we're not doing a competition here, so. And I could, you know, I could do the same thing I did with cape here. I could get a lighter brown and sort of highlight these, but I don't want to spend 9 hours on this dude. You know what I do want to do though? I want to make it look like this dude just rocked somebody's world with that fucking mace. So we'll do some of this True Blood. This stuff is pretty wicked red. And if I was really brave, I'd splatter some on him. I don't know that I want to do that. I mean, I do, but I don't know that I'd pull it off, and if I didn't pull it off, I'd be very upset. I'm gonna take the L on bravery on that one. Now what I did with my Warwolf, I don't know if the guy that was talking about plus starting to play this game, there are these like essentially werewolf characters as well that the heretics have, and they have like chainsaws on their mouths to like cut barbed wire and stuff. But what I did is I took some spackle and I put it in places, and then I covered it with this so it did look like there was like gunk and stuff, like he had just wrecked somebody. Anyway. Alright, cool. He's basically done. What else should we do? We'll do him just because I have no idea what color to paint this guy yet. So I was kind of thinking about making this guy rusty as hell. I've never done it the way that I think I'm going to do it though. Just basically cover his ass in rust and then build up from there versus cover him in metal. Let me think about this for a second. He's got a lot of skin showing. So these guys have burnt flesh. That's kind of their thing. So that's like he's got like a midriff going. This is bare. His legs are bare. They look all burned and nasty because they are. His legs. So I'm almost thinking, do I spritz this guy with white or a much lighter color more so I don't have to work as hard to build up on that flesh? Nah, I don't feel like that. Alright, we'll do this. We'll see what happens. I've never done it this way. May turn out trash. But we can always start over if we have to. Now this rust effect paint is pretty cool. Dark rust. It just looks like it has some texture to it. I don't know that it actually does, but when it dries, it looks like it's got a little bit. Definitely the chains need some rust. Pretty much all of them. I've never done it this way, and I just don't know how it's going to turn out. I think we got pretty much all the armor. Or I guess the shield. That's fair. Okay. Now what I'm thinking. See, I like the way that color, just like when it dries, it just gets, I don't know the word I'm looking for. Let's see it. It's very dull, I guess, and I don't know, it just kind of adds to the effect. So I'm tempted now to like dry brush it maybe with the metal. I'm just gonna do that and then see what happens. That's what we're gonna do. I'm sorry, 2:30. Time flies. I'm not gonna use that other stuff though because it's so watered down. So let me use. What am I looking for? Oh, yeah, here we go. I use gunmetal, maybe? We'll just try it and see what happens. I missed the top. I don't think this is gonna work the way I want it to, so I'm not gonna fuss over it too much. A happy little heretic. Actually, it's not terrible. Might be kind of like the white cloak, like it doesn't look like anything until you get everything else finished, and then it's there. I think the texture on the model helps a lot. Like I said, there's just, you could see this guy up close, he's just riddled with just pock marks everywhere. And so it's allowing me to get away with dry brushing this in a way that another model would not. He wears a toupee. He does have a toupee. Asmo's bald. I'm a lot of things, but I can tell you I'm not bald. This head will never be bald. I am blessed. Truly blessed. Majestic amount of hair. Yeah, it's probably not translating well on screen, but you could see it. Like there's just flecks of metal every angle that I turn them. So oops, that's a little much. But that's not too bad either. It might not be bad to have larger patches of the metal kind of showing through. I've never painted something like this with the rust being the primary color. I've definitely missed a few spots, but I'm hoping the metal will kind of take away from it. And then what I'll do is I'll just paint these chains metal, and then we can rust them up separately. I'm gonna have to redo those anyway, because I'm gonna have to get to that body underneath. My ring camera's going off. Somebody here? Motion at my garage. No, it's just something flapping in the wind. It's like, who's in my garage? Interloper. All right. Well, I'm going to leave that for now. I can always come back and redo it with something else if I don't like it at the end, but I'm going to leave that because it is interesting. It's different. It's not something I'm used to doing. It doesn't really match anything else I've done, but oh. What else? What else? He's got this air tank. His skin is just fucking raw. We need to do... Oh boy. Let's try this. Some crusted sore. Gaming paints have the worst names. I don't think that's mixed up enough. Use the old vortex. We'll try it. I'm not convinced this is the right answer. Ugh, way too watery. Some of these paints are just weird, like the feel of them, the texture. This is one of them. I've never really liked using it. In fact, I'm not gonna use it. I don't like it. Just kind of weird, slimy. It's almost slimy. Slimy paint. Or something else. We'll just do pure red. I did do something where I think I saw somebody do it and I copied it, was to paint skin red first. And that way it almost sort of bleeds through underneath the skin, just like your blood does, right? I mean, your blood's red and all that jazz, so kind of lends itself to flesh. In this case, we're not really going to make him fleshy because he's all burnt and nasty. The burnt boy. I'm kind of putting this on thick. I didn't really water it down. Yeah, his skin is so gnarly. Like 3rd-degree burns. He basically comes from hell. Been burned by the fires of hell. That's his lore. He certainly looks it. Even got a little belly showing. Got his belly shirt. Definitely works out. He's got good abs. I'm being kind of rough with it. I'm not caring about getting like necessarily full coverage or smooth coverage, because I'm probably gonna mess with it anyway. Might try dry brushing it with a little bit of black and try to build like a char, you know, kind of look. If I can, if I have the skills. My brush is spreading, which is I'm using because I need to get 2 fingers. I'm kind of hitting 2 fingers at once, but it's not good. I need to just open the other pack of brushes, but I'm lazy and frugal. He is a Hellfire Warrior. Now what I didn't do, I should have done, but I didn't think about it till after I printed them, is I should have did some digital kit bashing to him and like added some sort of gun somewhere. Even if it was just a pistol. Like a holster. But that's fine. I'm not too WYSIWYG. You're familiar with that term. What you see is what you get. So some people play that way where the model has to show what he has, you know, like, oh, he's holding a shotgun. Well, he's got a shotgun. I think that's cool until it isn't, right? Like that's a huge pain in the ass, especially in a game like this where your characters can kind of evolve over time. So this guy, he may survive some battles and then get some new skills, and then I'm like, oh, he needs to have this type of weapon. Well, what am I gonna do? Chop his sword off and give him a rifle or something? So I think it's a neat an idea, but lacking in practice type of thing. The old WYSIWYG. Unless you want to get really fancy pants with magnets, but after a while that becomes a bit of a pain. I think that rust isn't too bad as we add more color to them. I think, let's see. I think we'll do like a bronze back here on his little air tank thing. I've got some rubber. I can do rubber tubing. What am I missing here? Oh, that's fuck. I should have done rust there. All right, I got to do that. Brown. These are like skulls. Oops. And then his fancy hairdo. Gotta do something with that. Just change real quick. Sometimes just putting some color down is enough. Like, it doesn't even have to be the right color. Sometimes it's just your eye gets sort of deceived. You see something that breaks the pattern. All right, we need a little bit more dark rust. Oh, my back is killing me. Right there on the back. Do some of the satchel brown. I have a potential spam call. Okay. I'm just gonna cheat a little bit. I'm just gonna put a little bit of that in this groove to darken it up. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes you just put a little color in there. It's like, who cares? Hey, this is my fully, that's right. I am the man in the 40-year-old virgin, though I'm clearly not a virgin because I got way too many kids for that, but this is me living my fulfilled life. 100%. Thank you. All right. Do some bronze. That's a funny movie. I'm kind of breaking my own law here. I'm painting this bronze. I'm probably gonna, you know what? I'm gonna stop myself. Just gonna wipe that off. I'm gonna paint this brown first. Oh hell, I'll just do the rust, because whatever, that's brown. But gold and yellow and things like that, they go so much better over some brown. It just works better, looks better. I'll just do that, let that dry a little bit, and we'll put the bronze on there. Another thing, skulls, honestly, I like to do with some sort of brown and then build up from there, so. Just gonna rust all this up. Basically brown. And I already have it out. I'll leave that body alone, but I'm gonna get into here. There's a little bit of area that I missed. The rust, but I'll do that body a different way. So I just don't know what it is yet. Hey, he had a lot of collectibles. He made a lot of money. All that stuff. I wish I'd have saved some of the stuff that I had when I was a kid. All my old Star Wars figures. I had the Millennium Falcon and TIE Fighter. All kinds of good stuff. Trying to look at the sword, see if there's any like good detail on it. I can't. Yeah, I'll probably leave it. Let's just try what I was talking about. We're not really gonna dry brush it. We're gonna kind of dab it on some black over his skin and just see what that gets us. We might screw it all up. I'm gonna use this little makeup brush spongy thing. And just see what we can get away with. I don't know if those ridges are... Yeah, I don't like how that's turning out. I like the idea, I just don't think that this is the right tool. Let's try. It's just hard to get in all these nooks and crannies. Not great. I'm not loving it. But I'm not hating it either. I think it's one of those times you just have to accept that you're making something to be looked at from like 6 feet away, not, you know. I don't paint for the Golden Demon contest. Things are getting looked at real close. Well, it is knocking that red back so much is good. I think that's okay. Not great, but it's not terrible. Yeah. Once tried to build a Tomcat model, but did not have the patience, and it turned out terrible. Well, that's how I made money painting. Was I didn't do a great job, but I would make stuff and people would buy it because they didn't want to paint it themselves. Yeah, weathering can save you a lot of pain and misery after you make something look bad. That's a true statement. All right, this guy needs a lot of touch up, and I'm just not feeling like doing. I'm gonna skip the skulls for now, but we can add a little bit of rust to the chains. We'll add some of that fresh rust in them as well. curious though. Add a little to the armor. Gonna screw things up. Adds a little color variation, which it needs, honestly. Very subtle. You guys probably, it's probably not even coming through, but it's just a lighter shade of that brown, and it dries the same, where it just looks very, very matte, very dry. And I'm cheating and finding some of those little spots that I missed and just kind of dabbing it in there, filling it in. Oh. You don't mow your lawn in your undies? You're missing out. Actually, I like that. It adds a little bit. He was a little too bland, even with the metallic dry brush, but I think that added that last little taste that we needed. Variation there. I'm not in love with it in like as a paint scheme. I don't think that I'd be doing it very often, if at all, but it was worth trying. I don't think it's terrible. How time is it? I got time. Almost. I would like to see what it looks like with those skulls done, because I think that would add a lot of flavor, but I don't know. Where the hell? Oh shit. Got cables and shit running all over the place here. I feel like I have too much on my brush. I move on to another part, kind of dab some of it off, and then go back to where I was. I'm kind of bouncing between the two. I don't know if that's a fucking skull or what, now that I'm putting some paint on it. I can't tell what the hell that is. I hate when shit like that happens, where it's like sort of muddled. This is definitely a skull, because I can see the eyes. That other one almost looks like a sack, but that doesn't make sense, so I'm just gonna treat it like a skull. This is definitely a skull. And then once that's done and dry, we'll hit it with like a brown wash. That for me is usually a good skull. Yeah, I don't like those skulls. They don't have enough definition. I'm just gonna hit this with this while I get this color out. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this yet. I imagine it's gonna be of a lighter shade, so I've already got this paint out. Just get ahead of it. That's those horns too, huh? I do not like painting any sort of cylinder. All right. Obviously this body, I can't tell, like, can't tell what's going on with that skin. It's like kind of necrotic, kind of gross. Oak minwax, yeah. Yeah, I just use, you know, like a brown wash. Just kind of ages it, you know. Since I got this out, I know I didn't paint it brown, but I'm putting it on pretty thick, so it shouldn't be a problem. I'm gonna just do this skull. Look like a skull, but then it looks like it's got kind of a rotting body underneath there. Sick. You're a sick bastard. Which I have necrotic flesh. Just for the situation. And again, washing it will make it not so in your face. Come on, there we go. Those chains will have to get redone, unfortunately, but that's alright. I kind of stipple it on there and we'll see what we get. I got this one thing with one of my Kickstarters, and I was looking at it the other day. I was kind of painting it a little bit here and there. I can't tell if this dude's dong is hanging out. You guys probably can't even see it, but he's hung up on this cross. There is some girth right here. It's got like a little shape going on, so I don't know. He's got like a banana hammock going, or if I'm supposed to paint that like it's like a schlong, but the absolute worst brush, but I'm making it work. So once that dries, wash it a few times with some weird shit and it won't look so just funky. Have some life to it, or afterlife, as it were. Maybe treat those chains like tank treads, paint them in rust, wash in black, and dry brush silver. Yeah, yeah. The chains will be fun to do something with. I just gotta get through that skin first and get all that stuff worked up. Happening. All right. So I gotta highlight the brown on his belt and little tunic here, his little ball cover. Oh, we already got that bronze out. Let me do that. Yeah, I think it with the brown, it makes it easier to go on if nothing else. Because it doesn't look as streaky if you do get some streaks. Same thing. I'm gonna dirty this up when it's done anyway, so it won't be as bright. I might do some of his sword with this too. Yeah, my phone is constantly. Let's just do like the pommel. This brush is like, kill me. Not yet, you still have life. Detail's much better on this side. That's a shame. Got like a skull. I don't know if I should do the whole sword like that, maybe. Yeah, I'll sleep on it and see. Oh, I kind of want it to be all. That's it. I'm just gonna do it. If I hate it, I can always paint it over. Put a little water on my brush to help this paint flow. I didn't really thin it. Did my camera move? Tighten that. Sorry about that. Alright. Good place. Let him dry. A couple other details to hit. Give him a wash. I gotta figure out what to do with this headdress here. I don't really like shit like that. I kind of wish he didn't have that. I could have changed this helmet, but it would have been a lot of work with all the hoses and stuff. It would have been a nightmare. So, oh, whatever. We got some stuff done. Where's the other guy at? I like this guy. I think he came out pretty good. We were working on his base. And this guy, he's okay. I'm not thrilled about him, but I also know we're still in that ugly phase. And I think that's one of those things when you do this stuff is you gotta recognize. It took me a lot of years to recognize. You start painting something, you get to that ugly phase where things just look like trash. And sometimes that's a harbinger of things to come, or sometimes it's just a natural step that you gotta get through. So keep pushing on and hope in one hand, shit in the other, and see which one fills up first, I guess. I hate this paint. Just throw it away. I never use it. Every time I try to use it, I'm disappointed in it. I'm very bad about putting stuff back after I'm done, so I'm trying to do that. Oh, jeez. I have a lot of desk space. I just use it all up with junk. There's just junk everywhere. Terrible. Anyway, all right. Well, I'm gonna go drink some coffee, say hello to the children when they get home, and I appreciate you guys hanging out. Maybe this weekend I'll do some more, but otherwise I'm going to work on Monday. I won't be back till the following week. See what old Uncle Ken has for me lined up. What adventures await? So anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and hanging out. I appreciate you all doing that. I hope you're having a good day, whatever it is you're doing, working or hanging out at home or what have you. And I hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you.